Will the Bengals win their first road playoff game in franchise history? Hi again, everyone. I'm James Rapien with allbengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk, and that is the question going into Saturday's divisional round playoff matchup against the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. We will be there, so hit that subscribe button. But look, there's a lot of layers to this game, and it's so funny because there's been a lot of headbutting on social media between Titans fans, even on this channel, Titans fans and Bengals fans. And, you got one side saying Joey B is way better than your quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. True. At the same time, the Titans are a 1 seed for a reason, and there's a lot of things to like about them. And that's why this game, to me, is going to come down to a few factors. It is a coin flip in my eyes. It really is. I mean, and I'll discuss all of them. We'll do my keys to victory. We'll get you a fun way to participate in all the action, no matter where you are across the country. And, well, then we'll get to my prediction because it's going to be a fun day on Saturday, and it's exciting. I like covering playoff football. Anyways, let's dive into it. The first key is simple. Can you keep Joe Burrow upright? Autry and Simmons, those two defensive linemen for the Titans, they have those two guys, and they're really, really good. But they have a lot of physical guys in the trenches, man. And if the Titans can dominate the line of scrimmage and get Joe Burrow off, which a lot of teams haven't been able to do, no matter how many times he gets hit, right? No matter how many times, 51 sacks, didn't matter, gets up. And not all of those sacks are on the offensive line. But, of course, the Titans are going to go after Akeem Adeniji. Of course, they're going to go after Isaiah Prince on the right side of that Bengals offensive line. Heck, they'll probably go after Trey Hopkins at the same time. That being said, if you can keep Joe Burrow upright, there's no reason to believe that this Titans defense is going to stop Burrow, right? Right now, he's just playing too well. He's seeing the field too well. His accuracy is at such an elite high level in his feel for the game and the way he's moving in the pocket and his pocket presence and his feel. It is just off the charts right now how well he's playing. So, he's been compared to Tom Brady a lot. Well, how do you get Tom Brady off of his rocker? Because people think that Brady's like this statue. Brady's great in the pocket. Now, he doesn't have the athleticism to go, side to side, off script like crazy. But the way he steps up, steps to the side, shuffle this, shuffle that. And Burrow has a lot of those instincts. The way to get Brady off is by hitting him. And Burrow's obviously younger and, has taken it, and we've seen him overcome it. But that's obviously the Titans' game plan. And so early on in this game, you want and you hope, if you're a Bengals fan, I think, that they get some kind of ground game going. That doesn't mean that they have to stick to the run and slow things down. And no. But get some kind of run game going. Because if you do, it's going to take a little bit of pressure off of Burrow. Now, I think he's got shoulders wider than the damn camera, okay? The dude is just, he can carry a lot on those shoulders. But you don't want to put too much on him, especially road game. Right? That advantage Titans. I know a lot of Bengals fans are going to go, but advantage Titans. And so, especially early on, can you get a couple first downs with Joe Mixon? Can you get it to second and third and manageable by running the ball here and there? Because if so, it should open things up. And I said it earlier on the channel, or earlier this week, talked about it on the Locked On Bengals podcast. This defense for the Titans, I think they're going to go too high. I think they're going to try to keep everything in front of them. And if so, what they're going to say is, all right, we're going to get pressure on Burrow, and we're going to make him be patient and no explosive downfield stuff. Well, the Bengals have really adjusted to that over the past, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Jamar Chase, the Yak King, right? Derrick Henry might be the king, King Henry. Well, Jamar Chase is the Yak King right now with the way he's his yards after catch ability. I mean, he breaks tackles. He makes guys miss. He's just the way he accelerates. We saw that in the Chiefs game. So I think the Bengals are prepared for that. Now let's get to that man named Henry, because of course the Bengals, they need to slow him down. I don't think they need to stop Derrick Henry, and some analysts might tell you that. I look at this game. Derrick Henry could run for 125 yards. He could run for 150 yards. He could run for 65 yards. And the result could all be the same. They could win with him running for 65 yards. They as in the Titans. Just as easy as the Bengals could win with Henry running for 65 yards. So stopping Henry isn't necessarily it, but you want to limit the big runs, the chunk runs. If he's getting 5 here, 4 here, okay. Especially if you're able to get off the field on third down. So you want to limit him some, but that's okay. Let's say he goes off. Well, you can live with that if, and this is the biggest key of all, and it goes right back to key 1 with Burrow, game script. You want to get an early lead. Not because the Titans are going to abandon the run game, but if you have the lead, then yeah, they can take their time and twiddle their thumbs and slowly move the ball down the field. And then maybe you just grip up and you force a field goal in the red zone. Or, maybe they do score a touchdown, right? But the Bengals can strike quick. And strike quick and strike quick and strike quick. And if you're not giving up the big plays to Henry and you're able to contain the play action game, that to me is as big of a worry as anything. Because if you do that and contain that, and Ryan Tannehill, you put him in a 3rd and 3 play action, maybe that's an interception. Maybe you're able to get some heat on him with Trey Hendrickson, who's fully cleared and ready to go. There are ways to get after Ryan Tannehill. The Titans' passing offense isn't great. So yeah, of course you want to get him into some 3rd and longs. And I'm not saying every Henry run needs to go for 4 or 5 yards. I'm just saying you want to eliminate the chunk runs. And understand that you might look up at the end of the day and he might have 28 carries for 110 yards. That's okay. You can live with that. You got to be able to handle everything else. It's if Henry has 108 yards and A.J. Brown has 2 touchdowns and 87 yards and Julio Jones has a big catch, that's the problem. So if you can limit Henry a bit and then get heat on Tannehill, make him make a bad decision or two, it's going to change the entire game. Trey Hendrickson strip sack, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Sam Hubbard, by the way, could certainly get in the mix there. DJ Reader, it's a big DJ Reader game. It's a big game for these linebackers. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, side to side, edge to edge, right? They need to be able to pop. They need to be able to pop. The pads need to be popping. And I've been asked about Trey Waynes a little bit this week. I do think he's going to play a little bit more because of his ability to tackle. And maybe not. Maybe they've just, he's fallen out of favor completely. I think he's going to be active, certainly. Maybe we don't see him on the field much. But if he was ever going to be, this feels like a game he would be active, especially given the physicality of those big receivers and, Derrick Henry in the open field. So that's the key to me. Like if you eliminate the big plays to Henry, these big long runs, and then Cheeto Awuzie is just who he's been all year, he's going to have his fair share of W's against whoever he's facing, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. And then the other side, make that person prove that they can beat an Eli Apple with a Jesse Bates in the area. The other guy that I think is going to have a big game is Von Bell in run defense. You're going to need him to come up. And I think that this defense is going to rise to that challenge. I really do. I think they're full of veteran guys that know what they're about to get into. And, Zach Kerr, by the way, the defensive tackle they added on from Arizona, he's expected to be active this week. So something to note there. You could see him get some snaps. Josh Tupou as well, expected to be active after missing last week, as well as Stanley Morgan Jr. at wide receiver. I want to give you my prediction. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the offense. But if you want to wager on this game, there's one place to do it, mybookie.ag. All you have to do is go there. They have a great, easy-to-use interface. I've used mybookie.ag. You can too. And right now, your deposit, that initial deposit, is going to be matched. Double that deposit up to $1,000 with promo code Bengals Talk. What's the promo code? It's promo code Bengals Talk. And what that's going to do is, let's say you make an initial deposit of $500, where you're going to turn that $500 into $1,000, $800 into $1,600. So you could throw it on the Bengals. Maybe a teaser. That's what I kind of like this week. Maybe you tease that line. Right now, the Titans are 3.5-point favorites. You could tease that up and make them like, 8.5. Make the Bengals essentially 8.5-point underdogs, and then take the Bengals. Look, the Bengals may lose this game, and you're going to hear my prediction in a few minutes. I don't think they're going to get blown out. I'm confident in that. I think their offense is good enough. Now, is there the scenario where there's a bunch of turnovers? Potentially. But just one of many options you have this divisional round weekend. MyBookie.ag. It's a one-stop shop for all your betting needs all throughout the playoffs, plus plenty of basketball and more in one spot. MyBookie.ag. Again, use promo code BengalsTalk to double that first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I've seen the back and forths. The reason Bengals fans are so damn confident, and you should be, it's Joe Burrow. Okay? And, it's what Colts fans felt going into that 2014 game against the Bengals when they had Andrew Luck. And it's like, oh, Andrew Luck versus Andy Dalton. And I know there's differences. I'm not saying Ryan Tannehill's Andy Dalton. He's a better athlete for sure. Same pocket presence, though. Better weapons than Andy had in that game because Green was out and all these dudes were out. But that's what it's like. It's like you had this prodigy and anything is possible with him. Now, I'm not saying the Bengals are ready to make a Super Bowl run. They certainly have their flaws. The offensive line leaves a lot to be desired. I think, defensively, you could use another edge rusher. This week, we'll see. I do think defensive line-wise, they're better than what the national media has given them credit for. But it's like you're refreshing to see, right, with Burrow. And I think if Joe Burrow plays the way he's played in recent weeks, it's going to be really, 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 really hard to bet against him, to pick against him. And that's why I'm picking the Bengals. I've went back and forth about this all week. I take these predictions super seriously. I don't just make them to make you happy. I made you guys really, really angry throughout the year. Those that have been here and watched this channel have seen it. I've seen me, I picked the Vikings, right? Week 1. And going back, there's just times where I'll pick, and I always say what's on my mind, and sometimes you won't like it, and that's fine. That's what you come here for, is honest talk. Well, honestly, I think the Bengals are going to escape Nashville with a win. I think it's going to be hard fought. I think it's going to be blow for blow. I think it's going to go down to the wire, and the magic number is 30. 30. Can the Bengals get to 30? I think they can. I think Ryan Tannehill and the Titans, much like last week with the Raiders, are driving downfield, trailing 31-27, and Jesse Bates ices it with either an interception or he's coming off the edge sack that no one sees, forced fumble, game over. I think Jesse Bates puts the cherry on top, ices the game, gets the Bengals to the AFC title game. The final score, Bengals and Burrow 31, Titans 27. They escape Nashville with a W. The best part of doing this is being able to connect with all of you. And so if any of you are in Nashville and you see me out and about, please say hi. If you're at Nissan Stadium and I'm on the field, say hi. I want to talk to you. I want to meet every single watcher out there. I love connecting with the fans. So 31-27 is my prediction. But I wanted to hammer that part home, and I kind of snuck it in there. You thought I was still talking about the game. I want to meet you. If I'm at a restaurant, if I'm drinking a beer at a bar, it doesn't matter. Come say hi. Would love to hear from you. And much like last week when I said it at the meetup, Bengals fans deserve this. It's been such a long time for the city. All right. I've seen it all. My first Bengals game that I watched was a preseason game where Jeff's, let's see. It was Jeff Blake. Akili Smith wasn't drafted yet. Threw a touchdown pass to Darnay Scott. And I was like 4 years old, right? And it was probably 97. I think they were playing the Colts. I can't really remember. Threw a touchdown pass. It's preseason, though. And so I'm like, oh, man, they're going to win. They're going to win. And I remember my dad being like, no, they're probably not going to win. They're not that good, James. And I didn't know. I was like 5-6 years old. And I'm like, oh, they're going to win. And then they lost. And I was heartbroken, right? You know how many people my age, I'm 30, have been heartbroken until this year? So many. So I hope for you, I hope for the people that remember the 88 and 81 and remember that feeling, I hope you have more of that feeling on Saturday at around 8 Eastern time with the 4:30 kick. Either way, win, lose, draw, we're going to be at Nissan Stadium. We're going to have exclusive coverage for you. If you missed any of our interviews this week, make sure you check them out. We will chat with you on game day. So for Andrew Fox Miller, who's been absolutely killing it, follow him on Twitter. I'm James Rapien. For now, signing off on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.